Hello, everybody, and welcome to another one of my Ascension messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. Today, I'm going to channel some messages through, but also, we're really, it's, I'm really starting to feel, even from my own point of view, there's been a tightening of self that's shattering illusions, and that's why they said to call it shattering illusions, because we are moving through these new energies, bringing in more of our soul, which is more love into our reality, more love into our life. And when we do that from a self inward way, we start to understand more of the patterns that we have been moving through our life with, and they start to stick out. When they stand out that much, um, we have to address them. We can't just hide them. We can't ignore them anymore. And the thing is, though, we also are learning through this, bringing in more love. I'm going to have to shut that window because there's so many loud birds out there. Hang on. They're beautiful, but I can't hear my own thoughts and my own channeling. So when we start to bring ourselves back into alignment of the love of ourselves, and we start to see these patterns that are really sticking out, like that we have had to deal with all of our lives, sometimes, we can address the bigger issues, the bigger patterns, because that love is like, hello, you're not that pattern, you're not that desired outcome, you're not the victim to your life. And because of that, also we might start to move towards our love of self as in freedom, what we are wishing or desiring of our external reality, to show us that we have actually accomplished the inner work. But then we also can flip back into the logical mind of show me, to the story that's outside of you. Show me, I want to know that I'm going in the right direction. And then it's like watching a pot boil. You're not really putting in the right energy for this. And so you could start to fall back into the story of, see, it's not showing me the inner work that I'm doing. And so you start to try to control, manipulate outside of you. And then it just comes back to a feeling of disheartenment and disappointment and victimization again, and all of that. So these new energies and aligning or bringing more love into self, or asking for more love to come into self, it's not a clear, like, straight line. It's not the typical easy journey that people would think, oh, we're going to be all beautiful now because I've got more love in my life. No, because what happens on the inside doesn't necessarily reflect the outside, because the outside is moving at a slower pace than what our inner knowing. And also we are still going through the lessons, so we can go back and forth. And so it's not going to shift on the outside until we've really made clarity within ourselves of what our desired outcome is. And also sticking to our guns of least resistance. And least resistance means that you're not pushing the outside to change. You are just purely keep going in, but I am deserving of the desired outcome. I'm deserving of all of this that I wish to see in my life come into fruition. So yeah, it can be a very challenging time when you literally allow more love to be present sometimes. And it's it's a squeeze, but it's also a, holy crap, I get it now. It's a release as well. It's both. And that release could be, I'm no longer searching for it outside of me, because I'm just going to keep on bringing it back to myself of I know I am magnificent. I know I am love going on a journey. I know I am creator of my own reality. And keep on bringing it back to that and letting go of the outcome. And that means that you're literally teaching your universe or your outside story, your world outside of you, what you will accept and what you won't. But every time you fall back into victimization, it'll bring up another issue. And it's interesting to note too, sometimes when we've gone through our life, we might have started off with a certain scenario, and then that led to the opposite scenario, and then that led to that certain scenario again. I'll give you an example so that you can understand what I'm talking about. And this is something that's obviously happens to me. It's happened to me. When I was brought up, there was no physical touch. There was no love. No, you could break your arm and I would not be touched, not even with one finger. So it was a very, just felt physically abandoned. And then when I left that, the first person that I met was a love bomber, a narcissist at the same time. So as soon as he love bombed me, I was like, oh my God, somebody actually said the word love. Somebody actually touched me. It was, I have to marry this person in the naivest kind of way. And then I ended up in that relationship for quite a few years. And then the next relationship I had, because when I got out of that, I was still a victim to, oh my God, this person has been playing mind games and using me and all of that sort of stuff, that I ended up bringing in another person who didn't have any love to get. Like, he couldn't show physical love. He could show love in other ways, but not for me physically, in a tactile sense that I was searching for. And so the story keeps going, flip-flopping from one to another. These are the patterns that they're asking us to look for as we're moving into more and more self-love, because they're the bigger patterns that our reality has brought in certain expectations and desires that you want to change, but you're still leaving one scenario as a victim and not completely understanding that to empower oneself in the scenario says that you do not need to search for that anymore, because you know 100% that you are worthy of it, and you're standing in that love vibration of yourself, and it will magnetize to you. There's a different that's different to I see that now, and okay, that's really sad, and every time I look back I cry, and okay, but I'm moving on, I can see it, and I'm not going to let it come to me again. All that will happen is that you'll flip to the opposite path as what you've been. And another love bomb, but it's all be fake, because you're still not standing in your power. So right from the word go, if I was a child that was, I was extremely sensitive. Obviously, I'm an empath. I could feel everybody's thoughts. I knew what everyone was thinking all the time. And that became quite difficult, because I held on to things that I shouldn't have needed to hold on to, because people have things in their heads that are fleeting and so forth. But even so, even with the no love, physical love thing, if I had held my energy long enough to know of my self-worth and deserving position, it would have eventually changed the outside reality, either cleared my mother's issues, or maybe I would have even shifted out of that. I don't know. That family wouldn't have been great anyway. But I don't know. There would have been some sort of other storyline that would have infiltrated because I would have held my magnificence and remembered my magnificence. It's kind of like if a baby was born, say, from a high benevolence, but they remember everything about themselves and how amazing they are and how magnificent they are, which we all are. Absolutely every one of us is, because we're all source energy going on this journey. If I'd remembered that completely, 100%, I wouldn't have been searching for the validation that I would have been searching for. I would have held on to that love, and then it would have cleared, I think, my parents' lineage quicker. But I was a child. I was new. I was naive. I was still going. I had to lose myself to find myself to be able to help other people in this point now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to understand where many others have gone on their journey that has kept them in a loop of self-sabotage. So it's all valid. It's all beautiful in the end because of the lessons that I've learned that I can pass on to you guys and many more, and you can pass them on to other people and so forth. So to get myself out of that narcissism, no love sort of relationships that I was bringing in on myself, or I was single for 9 years, which was pretty much no love either, is to bring myself back to not being a victim to this anymore, and just keep on shining my light into knowing that who I am is extremely special, magnificent. And I'm saying this not from an egotistical point of view. Which it means that you're still searching for some validation outside of yourself. It's from an inner knowing that I am a beautiful soul, a soul going on a journey. I am source energy going on a journey. So yeah, that was my vulnerable bit. And I was told, I'm going through some things at the moment, and I'm like, can I bring this up? And then they're like, bring it up, because it's part of the whole me moving into aligning with my higher self, and other people seeing it happen as it goes through this transition. So the more and more light that I bring into myself, the more that I see things that are standing out that aren't for me anymore. But it's not like I'm moving away from them anymore. I am staying in the same place, but shining more. And yes, I've lost myself, and then I found myself, but now I'm starting to see the picture of stay, but shine your light more. Everything else will either crumble around you, or it will shift, one or the other. But you don't need to worry about the outside reality through these transitions. And if you feel like you're going through a really tough time at the moment, just keep bringing it back to self-love and self-knowing of who you are, and go, this is my creation. I'm creating my story. And keep bringing it back to that. What's going to make me happy in the moment? What's going to shine my light brighter? And stop watching how the outside reality is reflecting back at you. Allow it time. Yeah, it's huge. Anyways, I see there's a couple of people on my chat bar. So I'll just say hi. So hi, Nicole, Yannicka, and Linda, my usual team, my beautiful team. Okay. So let's see what else channels through at the moment. Yeah, it is really shattering illusions, really shattering old programs, understanding that there is more value in allowing yourself to align with your strength of love, instead of falling back into victim and feeling like the world is against you. The world was never against you. It just seemed that way because you were pushing the world to show you something it wasn't quite ready to show you. So you're like pushing something to say, where's my reflection of my self-love? And then the world's like, well, hang on a moment. I got to get this, and this, and this together. Because what is the outside world? It's the logical compartmentalization of the logic grounding this. And so it has a process that it goes through, a breaking down of certain things. You could already set up that, I don't know, you're going to move into a new job or something, but you still got to tick all the boxes and all that sort of thing. You still got to go through the process and allow the time to catch up to it and all that, but you already know it's happened. So they want us to be in a place of already knowing that it's happened, because you've accepted that, fully embraced that within yourself. And that means you don't need to keep watching. You don't need to keep asking. You don't need to keep wishing. You just have this absolute knowing of trust that the outside world is going to bring this desired outcome and this reality to you. And this is how we are breaking free of the matrix, and really shifting into these new creative energies of how far can we push this? How far can we actually create something from that wasn't a desirable outcome, and shift it from shifting our inner self into what's going to show up next, but also having a trust in this and the unknown, because it could show up better than what you thought. But if you get your logical mind coming into play and saying, I want it this way and this way and this way, it's already limited you again into a certain concept that actually the soul's probably screaming, it's not going to make you happy. It might make you happy for a moment, but not for all of the rest of your life. And what we're doing is we're shifting ourselves so that we can create this better, beautiful world for the rest of our lives, for the rest of our generations, for more humans that are born, and all of that sort of stuff. It's huge, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing, and it's worth it. It's worth it. So if you are having a hard time at any given moment in the future, and you feel like everything's like a yo-yo, oh my God, I'm there, I'm here, I'm there, just keep on trusting that this is you bringing in more light, and then feeling into that, and then understanding that it's going to show up things in your reality that you're not going to be conducive with anymore. It's up to the other people whether they want to heal. It's up to you can't change that. You can only stand here and be you, and be shining your light and love who you are. That's really generally what it all comes down to. And then have faith that everything will shift to align with that love of who you are. Yeah. Hey, Sasha, good to see you. Linda, volunteering on Saturday and interacted with someone going through withdrawal. The anger reminded me of my dad and his anger. It only reminded me of those hard times. I have done the love work. Did my best to support this couple. It's interesting, isn't it, how something outside of us will show up, and it's not until we really do step into the empowerment of ourselves and go, you know what, I'm no longer victim to that. It isn't who I am in this present moment now. That's when you know you've shifted it. If it's affected you, there's still something for you to address of giving your or lacking within your own self-support of who you of shining your light, of being the magnificence that you really truly are. And understandable because I'm going through the same thing myself. So it's not a matter of coming down on each other or coming down on ourselves or anything like that. For anything that we've felt, like as you feel it, just say. Sometimes it will get to the point where it becomes so unbearable that you go, I have to let this go. And that's literally what we call an inner tower moment, an inner tower moment of the tension is just too much to bear, and I have to let this go. And when you let go, you are no longer resisting, and you're no longer searching for the validation outside of you. You are in a no man's land, you're in a void, and then you can start to see through least resistance what what you need to take back as value of yourself to show you of your what you're deserving. Um, we can't be looking outside ourselves for validation of something that we've only just shifted or we've only just realized. It's kind of like, okay, they're bringing me to this alignment of this story that's a little bit sad, but a little bit, yeah. Anyway, um, I have an absolute empath for animals. Most empathic people do, and I found these mice, and they were little babies. They were just born, and I decided I'm going to take them because the cat had eaten the parents, or they'd run away. It was something had happened anyway. There was only little babies left. So I took them, and every few hours I got a rag and I dipped it in goat's milk, and then I fed each and every one of them. Every 2 hours I'd wake up and do this for a couple of weeks, or a week or something like that. It was quite a long time anyway. It seemed like quite a long time. And then one by one, the weaker ones dropped off. They didn't survive. But there was this one mouse that survived, and he was starting to grow hair. And I was, oh my God. But at the same time, I was going through this, I am so powerful. I am so spiritual. I can shift everything like that, like that, like that. And so I decided, if I come with enough love to show the mouse, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I was young and naive. Then I am going to validate to myself that love conquers all, And so I showed the cat the mouse, and he ate it. So this is what I'm trying to say. Don't look outside yourself for validation while you're still doing this inner work. Allow it to be processed. Allow the outside world to magnetize to you. Don't search for it anymore. Allow the universe to show you how far you've come. And if it's not showing up, there might still be a blockage. There might be still something that you are needing to work towards looking at. And that's when you say, I'm going to pour more love into myself and shine more. And then that blockage will stand out. Like they keep saying, like dog's balls. Like it would just stand out. And then you go, oh, that's the thing that I don't really know that I need to address. Oh, I need to say no more to that. And then when you do that, it could become this rocky moment. And that's what they're telling me about now, is to just keep on shining your light. Don't watch it. Don't look at it. Say what you need to say. Be assertive in the moment. Trust who you are. Always come from the love of yourself. Act with grace. Act with grace. And then watch the outside world. Yeah. Yeah, it's not right for you either, Maggie, to try to change the outside world. Yeah, the outside world is a mere reflection. It's not something. It's like poking the mirror. It's like going, mirror, change. Mirror, don't look so angry. That sort of thing. It's not to do with the mirror. It's not to do with your outside reality. It's everything to do with how much you're stepping into your power of who you are from a feminine aspect of yourself, and then asking your masculine side to align with that, so that you start moving towards the actions and doing the actions towards seeing it coming into your reality, or it's just going to start falling in because you're starting to align yourself with the right people, the right circumstance, the right time, and all that, because you are empowered. And so that's where you lead yourself to. And there's no more flip-flopping from one problem to the opposite side of that problem anymore, because you're no longer a victim to it, and you're standing in your power and saying, this is who I am, and aligning with more and more. And some of us that have a really high or a it's kind of like a chosen to or have decided to come in here from great benevolence with great empowerment have more we have to climb through, and shift and shift and shift, where others might get to a point where they're like, that's satisfactory for me and my soul. I've already reached the pinnacle of where I want it to go, where others that have want to move even higher have to go through more. And so we can see the crumbling away of our outside reality over and over and over again, until we start to go, each time when the outside reality does crumble away, we're stepping through that vortex or through that portal with absolute self-empowerment. And that's when we start to open these new doors to all these other understandings of who we are and the gifts that come, that follow. Because then they're showing me like it's not just one door that will be in front of you. It'll be like all these different doors will start to appear to you, and you can choose any of them, and there's no worries about which one you choose. They're all coming from love of yourself, and so they're all gifting something to you, and you have a lot more adventure, a lot more playground, a lot more pizzazz in your life that you can walk through. But to get to those doors, or to open up, or to let those doors show up in front of you, is to walk through that one door without being a victim anymore, without being a victim to what just happened. And it's not, we can say, how the heck are we going to do that? It really comes down to just self-empowerment and staying present, even within the issue itself. Even if you stay with the issue, but you know that you're working through it, you are learning to accept it. And when you're learning to accept it, you are starting to learn to drop the victimization or the program that you are a victim to it. It's through self-acceptance that it is what it is in this moment, and so be it. But in this moment, I stand in my power of who I am and love myself so much that I'm not going to diminish my power by falling victim to the scenario that was showing up in my outside reality anymore. Yeah. So, hey, Linda from UK, good to see you. Yeah, love that poking in the mirror. Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? We have all done it, and we are all in the same boat going through this transition. Yeah. So it's a real huge, at the moment, from my own point of view, and I am taking it from my own point of view, as well as a collective of what could come up in your life too in the future, or what has already been for you. But it definitely is a transition that we're moving through. As we move through the eye of the needle, we are shedding the illusion of things that don't match love. Yeah. I just left an anonymous meeting in time to hear Bobbie's mouth story. Perfect timing, as always, with you. Thank you. I love that. Don't you love that sort of coincidences? Like, you can ask. That's such a great thing, Maggie. You're asking your reality to align you, and then you start to just synchronistically align with the right people, the right time, the right things. I tend to get, I'm very, I keep to myself and my tight-knit family. I don't have anything really outside of that, because I like to channel through my messages. But I could just be driving along, and then I'll hear a passerby say something, and I'm like, that's interesting that they said that when I was just thinking that. Or I'll start getting messages flowing through me just out of the blue that actually answering something that I've I have been asking about. So ask the questions, ask the big questions, ask how you can align with the love of yourself, ask how you can be, bring in more magnificence, and don't be afraid of the unknown, because the unknown is where these doors are. The unknown, they show me like the blackness, and then you could be in the blackness in a victimized state of mind, and you'll see no doors, you'll see no opportunities, you'll see nothing. You just sort of sit there in this procrastination. And then when you say, I'm no longer a victim to it, and you step into the unknown, or into the vortex, into the central galaxy, whatever you want to call it, and then all of a sudden, because you are no longer a victim, these it's like golden doors are showing, many ways to go, and you realize you were never stuck. It was just you playing the victim role that kept you stuck. Yeah. That's so cool, Maggie. It happens all the time. I love that. Yeah, that's where and it's aligning, isn't it? It's aligning with what you're asking for and needed, and it's the power of who you are. And it's also interesting to note that sometimes we align ourselves with very difficult situations. They need to be seen just as valid as the good ones, because they are showing you the lack of your own self-love, or the lack of your own empowerment. Nothing in your reality isn't guiding you towards more self-love, more source, bringing in more source energy, bringing in more of your soul. Everything is that. The only thing that we tend to do as humans is we are falling victim to it, and then that will keep us in a procrastinated state of mind where we keep looping back. But you could also take that not so good thing and see the value in it, and bring it back to an inward journey, not pointing the finger at the other person, and then allowing yourself to feel into how you feel about this, and where's your lack, where's the thing that's stopping you from feeling empowered at the moment. Have you given away your power to them? Have you tried to be the caring, nurturing person, but never cared and nurtured for who you are? That sort of thing can come up, and then you can use that. Well, okay, I pull back my energy from those that I've given to them. I've given them my empowerment, my nurturing and self-care, because I need to self-care and nurture myself now, and I'll just let whatever that is work its own way out, because I trust that to have its own lesson, that person, that energy, that story, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, is there anything else? The message I keep getting, sorry, this is Maggie in the chat bar. The message I keep getting is that I am to be a mirror in the location I am. I'm not easily understanding what that means. They showed me one day when I was driving. They showed me a mirror, and they showed me reflections or fractals of mirrors everywhere. And they showed me that every person, every dynamic in your life was a literal mirror, but fractally showing you your reality. And that's why they're saying, when you come back to you are the central point, the light that shines on the mirrors of all those dynamics, of all the people, of all the businesses and everything, then it is only you that shifts all of that. I think that's what they're trying to say to you. You are the central location of your universe, and you are the stable point of existence where you recognize source energy or love, where you recognize the God within yourself, because you have your own feelings, your own antennas going outwards, your own, what you hear, what you see, what you touch, everything. And then, so outside here is like, they're showing me like tentacles going out, and then mirror, 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 like light tentacles. And then they're saying, come back to you, shift you, and allow the outside reality. But always give this time, because sometimes we do need to, when we shift ourselves, we do need to sometimes go inwards, and to an unknown quantity of it's kind of the void. It's the void, where anything can happen and everything can happen all at the same time. Nothing can happen and everything can happen at the same time. And that's where we align ourselves with what we truly desire rather than what we expect to happen. So yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, guys, I just saw something. My battery is actually very low. I'm really surprised. I think I overwatched some things last night. I thought that I had charged my computer, and I don't have my charger with me. So I'm going to have to prematurely wrap this up today. Otherwise, it's just going to cut me off. And maybe that's just the way it's supposed to go at the moment. Just sit with all of that I've told you. There's quite a bit of information there anyway. I do have another video that I'm going to be working on, and I'll bring that up soon. I'm also going to be on Robert Carley's Typical Skeptical podcast tomorrow. So that's an interview that's happening with me tomorrow. And don't forget, I'm an intuitive counselor. If you do want to have a reading with me, I will help guide you through your whatever you need to be guided through. I'm very good at it now. I've done like pretty much 400 readings now, and got only positive reviews. And lots of people keep coming back, so that's really nice. So yes, I'm available, and my link is down below, Codes to a New Reality. Thanks so much for everyone who's in the chat bar. I love you guys heaps. You know I do. And thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time, bye.